are trying to hop off of capitalism.
Yeah, but like I
You're
think
going
that
to
we've gotten so far and we've accomplished so much that poor people today are buying iPhones and have computers with internet connections and don't experience the same kind of racial hatred. Look at the integration of Irish and Italians and people that came in, you know, through Ellis Island and
yeah,
all that shit. Like
that's
all of
not
these
good at
positive things.
capitalism.
No, but it happened under a capitalist system. And to some extent, you
Yeah,
could say that capitalism did contribute to this. People had the opportunity to create and sell products, to own their own businesses, to pass on their own family wealth, right? These are things that only happen under capitalism,
yeah,
right?
but the reason why we were able to be accepted into the general trend of whiteness was because we established a thorough distinction between us and the only group of people lower than us, black people. Irish people rode to whiteness on the backs of black immigrants and slaves who moved north.
Okay.
To some extent,
it's
but they did it.
largely
They did it,
they
though.
did do it. I'm not saying that things are getting worse in every sense. The world is getting better. There's no denying that.
Yeah.
But there are certain. I don't disagree with that. I'm not all gloom and doom.
So why
but
can't we keep getting better?
Because you can't keep getting better forever. The world got better between I don't know 1100 AD and 1800 AD, which was largely the trend of like monarchism and the monarchist states in Europe. But eventually, you learn that there are certain problems inherent to the system, and no matter how much things are going to improve within that system, those issues can't be addressed. And that's what I'm talking about. We could have a capitalist society with perfect racial and gender equality. Absolutely the case, but we could never have a capitalist society with a capitalist society with class equality. We could never have one with global equality because capitalism always leverages the power of the state against foreign agents. Things like that
Sure, but
cannot
these
get
are
better here.
problems that I would love to have. Like, these are good problems. If we live in a society where racism and sexism don't exist anymore, and now the only differences that we have are between the classes, I would consider that a goal. And then we can address that at that point, right? I mean, like,
Classism is the root.
Classism sucks. It does. Classism sucks. But if that was the only issue that we had to deal with, that would be far superior than what we have today, right? If people said that money was the only thing that mattered, and I'm not going to hate you because of your skin color or think that your race, predisposes you towards some fucked up shit. Sorry, go ahead.
Race and gender issues can continue to advance regardless of the system we live in, but we condemn ourselves to continued class inequality if we stay on board for much longer.
Well,
because, and can I want to be straightforward about this, because, and I feel like this is going to come off really doom and gloom, but almost all of the social and technological advancements we've enjoyed over the past 200 years.
Different types of transitions. Yeah, you need to be a bit more specific for that. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Like, what do you mean? This is just like a current side project I have. Probably should be working on my map part, but I'm not, so it's kind of like that. Maybe I should open something a bit more fresh. This is the creep video I did, I think a week or two ago. I think I did a lot of interesting transitions with that. Let's see. Just wait for that to open. Okay. Yeah, this is really gonna work unless, like, you guys can be a lot more specific about what you want to see. Do you mean transitions as in the transition tab? Okay. So if you're talking about like actual transitions from the transitions tab, for the most part, this is a noob trap, to be honest. There are a couple here that are half decent, but generally speaking, I don't use transitions at all. And most editors that I've seen their tracks don't, generally speaking, use transitions. Like maybe a few, but generally speaking, it's just better to get the effects you want and then just do crossfades. Like it's very rare to see like something in the transitions tab that you can't do on your own and have a greater degree of like customization. I should probably make the tracks a bit smaller so you can see all the video layers at once. Oh, god damn. I made too many layers. Oh yeah, don't be like me. Like I could have condensed all this into probably like 5-ish layers, but I get really lazy. And instead of trying to fit things into the same layer, I end up making new layers when I probably shouldn't. So yeah, I could probably get this all in 5 or so layers. It has F in the center. Yeah, I already tell you right now, you need more than one layer. Like, there's no such thing as a good edit with just one video layer. You're gonna at least need, I would say, 4. I would say 4 is like the bare minimum usually. You need 2 to 3 layers just for overlays, things like slides, and then I would say you also need an add layer. Hold on. I actually talk about add layers a lot in the chat, but I never really go into detail about what they do. So actually let me pull up an example right now. Okay, you see this? This right here is an add layer. Normally layers are source alpha. An add layer pretty much takes what you already have here and then adds it on top of the video in a, how would you say, in a translucent way instead of having it directly overlay. So this is what an add layer looks like, right? I have it here. Now if there's no clip below the add layer clip, then it's just gonna play normally, like if it was source alpha, right? So once you have add, when the new clip starts a fadeaway, right? It looks like this. And when you have source alpha, it would look like this instead. It would just look like a traditional overlay, right? So this is source alpha, your traditional fade, and this is your add layer. So I think the best example to show how good the add layer is when you have hold on, pre-packaged video clips that hold on. I mean, the stream probably has like a 20 to 30 second delay, to be honest, so it'd probably just be better even if you guys don't talk, if you at least like join the voice chat channel, so like get your questions out and have them answered pretty quickly. Oh, Panic Crop? That varies wildly, to be honest, between clips. What kind of pans are you talking about? Are you trying to do like hard cuts? Or are you talking about more of like really fast-paced like transitional zooms, or more like a slow pan out? Like what kind of pan and crop are we talking about here? It's It's a very vague thing to say. Hold on. Here we go. While you enter that, oh yeah, here's actually a transition I used. So I'm a part of the New Blue Studio that I like a lot. I could have done this myself, but New Blue honestly made it a lot easier. But yeah. Alright, hold on. Okay, I'll show you some of my pens in a second. Let me just get to the ad layer, because I think not enough people really talk about it. Okay, you see this clip right here? Okay, like the flames flickering? Right? Okay. So, looks like this. You get this like really nice effect. Like this is the kind of frame I would want to show. This first shows what that layer does, right? Now, if I were to use this as a source alpha instead, look like this. It's not outright terrible, but it takes away from what I'm trying to show. Alright, anyways, let's see. So, pan and crop. So, what kind are we talking about here? Like, you just said yes, but I like yes to which kind? Okay. No response. Okay, well, I really don't know what I'm supposed to work with then. Oh, right. I actually have these. Actually have like a proto version of this project rendered. Okay, hold on. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna watch this video while you guys figure out, like, I don't know how you want to ask your questions, because not really giving me anything to work with here.
And by social, I don't mean like, you know, black people are slaves. I mean the way our society has evolved, the way our
Don't do this to me, YouTube.
standard of living has changed. All of that has been predicated on the availability of
Oh, I'm sorry, you
There's
cut
a
off.
book-
Wait. You cut off on the availability of what?
coal and oil.
Okay, sure, yeah.
There's a book called The Long Emergency which talks about this. A lot of people imagine peak oil as a point at which cars will, for a time, become much less economically tenable, but we have brilliant minds working in both private and public fields, and eventually a solution will be devised. We will
Hopefully.
transition to alternative energy sources. We will find a way to keep the torch of human civilization moving forward and upward with our ingenuity. And what this book postulates, and what I believe it is correct in saying, is that no, it won't. It's very too late for our society. Everything that we have come to appreciate over the past 200 years, from suburbia to the ubiquity of private transportation, to things like the internet, to essentially everything that modern society is built off of, all of it is predicated on the availability of a non-sustainable resource. And we will eventually reach a reckoning where we will have to accept the fact that not only is our way of life unsustainable, but the system that governed our way of life unsustainable.
Sure, that
And
might be possible, but this is like
this is close. This is our lifetime, Stephen. I don't like the idea.
It might be possible, but what I'm saying is, like, you understand that this is a conversation that I think is insanely interesting, and I would love to talk about it. But like in the overall course of like addressing like gender and race issues, like people aren't really going to care about these kinds of topics, right?
I mean, give them 40 years. I don't want to wake up one morning and realize that I'm going to die seeing humanity in a worse place than when I was born. but I feel like that's what I'm going to have to do. And
Sure, but I mean, the best
I
thing
just
that we can do is incentivize, alternative energy, some sort of sustainable energy. Like, it's possible. Or if we made some
yeah,
forms of nuclear energy work, that's another, fucking million years of human civilization, depending on what particular form of nuclear energy you're looking at. Or if we find ways to make solar energy or solar alternatives like wind and hydroelectric, capable enough, or make the batteries, necessary to do it. Like, it is possible to solve these problems, I think. I don't think anybody's ruled it impossible yet, so why not continue to incentivize that and head down that route? Then I think that's more, I say that because that's more realistic than telling everybody that we need to step back on our standards of living.
it is realistic, but we're not done with history. I mean, we didn't spend the first 10,000 years of human civilization bloodily fighting over the conquest of civilization, societies, ways of
Let's read some of this real quick while I wait for these guys to come back alive. So I think that personal freedom is overrated. Government should be more interventionist on personal lifestyle decisions. First argument is based on the credence goods or consider possible for the consumer to understand the benefit of them. Again, vitamin supplements should force people to take vitamins in order to increase public health. An even more crucial example is economies of scale over externalities and inherent quality/scalability for cultural practices. I think that different religious or cultural practices are better than other ones, independent of scale, and some scale better than others that reflect to the free market. The ones that through historical considering with the scale. As a reason, I support a government changing cultural practices in the interest of a nation such as the state of Shinto and Imperial Japan. Additionally, cultural and religious practices are often created because what? This guy's proposing like 17 different arguments under one headline. Half these aren't even related. Okay, so also externalities are an important reason for governments to restrict personal freedoms because if there are cultural practices that hurt people who are not voluntarily engaging in the practice, the government should prevent that from happening, and the government should encourage cultural practices that cause benefit to other people not directly involved. I am opening to the idea of changing this. Change this idea either through arguments that I'm missing something positive about personal freedom, or that I'm overestimating the benefits of restricting personal freedom, and the arguments and states necessarily implement these policies. Arguments during the Constitution, government should be what? You just say you think governments should be interventionist and take over people's personal life decisions, but you're not arguing for the government to implement these things? You just made an argument for that. Like, I think this guy is retarded or something. Oh, man. Oh. So what, the idea of starting a completely new edit right now? Oh, I could start my map part. Whew. I don't know if I'm really in the mood to start a new project right now. Starting a new project's a huge pain in the ass. Alright, so that's semi-new, I guess. Okay, yeah, sure, whatever, I'll work on this. This will probably just be a quick, short project. I'm only gonna do like a little bit of the song anyways. Okay, so this is Time by Hans Zimmer. It's from the Inception OST. Or the other day, and said I want to do like a kind of emotional edit with the Legend of Korra with it. So I started a little bit already, but this is just like pre-planning shit. Like when you first start a project, you always want to just slap some shit on the track, see how it looks, see what you like, what you don't like, and then what you do like, refine it. What you don't like, you can probably repurpose it, and if not, just delete it. So when I start a project now, I try to keep the music layer on the bottom. I have a second layer for music, but this is for audio clips that I'm going to be using. Actually, I can run through audio effects as well, which should be really good. Okay. I have 3 video layers here. I have 2 source alphas. I have one for just to be overlays and slides if I want to. So say for example, if you want to do a slide, I'd have the clip hovering over here and then have the clip over here. I'm pretty sure you guys know how to do slides though, right? If you don't know how to do slides, just write it in the chat and I'll just show you really quick. And then I have the add layer here, which I'll delve into more in a bit. I have to import my audio clips. Here are all my audio clips. Here we go. Delete this. How long does it take me to find the clips I want? I think as you edit a show more, you get a mental map of what goes where, so you just like know. When I first started editing, it'd probably take me a bit because I'd have to rewatch certain segments of the show to try to figure out like, oh, where is this? Like, or if I remember a scene from the show when I watched it the first time, and then I realized, hey, what episode is this in? I don't know. So I'll go find it out. It's a bit easier for me since Legend of Korra only has 52 episodes, so, and it was pretty easy to find, especially considering that most of it was fresh in my head. Yeah, finding clips isn't that much trouble. I don't want to do anything in general. Okay. Alright, let me just cover basic stuff then. Okay, I'll try to be like as minimalist as possible. Let's just try to approach concepts very simply. So let's say I want to find the clip from, let's see. Okay, there's an episode in season 2 that I really like. Is it, I believe it's this thing? Is it this thing? I don't think it's this thing. I think it's this thing. I'll check. But pretty much when you drag your video over, you can have 2 layers. You can have the audio layer and the video layer. If you try to delete the audio layer just by pressing delete, it'll delete the clip too. So what you want to do is you press U to unlink them while you have the audio highlighted. And then you just press delete and the audio is gone. Okay, so let's see. Also, since you're just starting, here are the video settings you should use. Your compositing gamut should always be 2.222 video. Let's see. You always want to have resample disabled. You want it disabled. By default, it's smart resample, but you want to have it as disabled. And once you're done with that, you can just hit start all projects with these settings. Your frame rate too, unless you're trying to do a 60 FPS. Because once you find the clip you want, you press S to split. You drag it over. So let's see. This is what I currently have. Okay, so just looking at it right here. Let me get rid of the color. Well, actually, let me see something. Of course, you can always copy and then paste the event attributes. So it'll copy the pan and crop, it'll copy the actual effects itself. Anyways, so I just wanted to get the color, so I'm gonna have to redo the pan and crop. Okay, so let's see. First, I'm gonna have to change how the pen ends here. I'm not doing any kind of. Generally speaking, when you edit, you want to follow the 4-frame rule for like zooms or very harsh pans. Sometimes I've seen people do 3, but generally speaking, 4 provides the kind of smoothest look. You're going to change your keyframe to smooth for most general pan and crop, from what I've seen. And then, so from here, this is where it's starting. From here, I want a smooth transition to the core clip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom it in. I'm going to push this over here. And then for the core clip, so since this clip is ending up pushed all the way over here, I'm going to want to start the core clip over here. It's just like a rough estimation. So following the rule of 4, I would have it over here. Alright, let's see. God, it's really hard to take a look at this since I'm streaming. Anyways. I'm probably not going to keep this clip here, but the transition looks a lot smoother than it did before. And then from there, you can refine it however you want, pretty much. Let's see. Yeah, I don't do that. I delete the audio track, then put the audio in. Delete the audio track, then put in the video audio. Not really sure you're referring to be honest. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. This is what I have so far. I'll probably just do a quick RAM render. By doing a RAM render is pretty simple. You just highlight the segment you want, then you press Shift plus B, and it'll be rendered to your RAM, so you'll be able to watch what you're working with without having to do a full render and it lagging everywhere. So. So this is where we're at right now. So this is like the very early segments of an edit where it's pretty much just gonna be trash for the most part. Damn, draft half looks really bad. I can't get a good idea of what this looks like. I'm probably gonna have to abandon it. I don't like this coloring. So usually what I do is, even if I don't like something, I just pretty much like push forward till I get like a good 10-ish seconds on the track, and then once I have that, I start revising. So we're at 317, right? So I'm just gonna skip straight forward. I want to end at 327. All right, let's see. You can look at the audio waveform to have an idea of like when the next beat's coming. So there's a heartbeat coming up right here. As you see, this is the waveform gets bigger. I'm gonna reverse this clip here since I want it panning in on her. Do an overlay. I'm gonna test about 6 frames. I'll probably scale it up to 7. Let's see here. Generally speaking, I don't really like doing newish edits on stream because it usually fucks with my mojo. But let's see. So this needs to be pinned way faster. Generally speaking, you should use a velocity tab, but you can also press Control when a clip is highlighted to stretch it, make it slower, or stretch it this way to make it shorter. Okay, so I think that actually helped me find the clip I want to use for something else. Cool. Anyways, getting super time consuming, to be honest. Really, another way to put it. Okay, the goal of this clip is to have it fade in and then fade out heavily. Probably to lower the opacity a bit too, since I want it to be more translucent. How many frames is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. I'm not sure what transition you mean, to be honest, because you guys are super desynced from what I'm doing since you're watching the stream, so it's really hard for me to respond to what you're seeing. So, like in general, if you see something you're curious about, like, you need to be like very hyper specific about what you're talking about. Let's see. Will this ever stop lagging? That's what I hate about editing like HD materials sometimes. Well, we have this clip right here, right? So let's see. We need a shake for this clip. Let's see. Okay, so let's see how the clip starts. So the clip starts with chord right here. This is how it naturally looks. I'm gonna get rid of the effects for now, since I think it makes it a bit harder to see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna follow the rules of form, but this time I'm doing a bit inversed. Also, I'm going to insert velocity. Velocity is a pretty useful envelope. So instead of making the clip longer, the other way by using control, we use velocity. It gives you a lot more precise control over how fast or slow you want to make a video. So if you ever seen an AMV where someone manages to like do a complete freeze frame, I mean, there are two ways you can do it. You could either save the picture and actually do the shake, or you can use velocity, and then you could have the clip set to 0%, which means, well, the clip won't move at all. Anyways, what also is really good about velocity is it allows you to create anchor points. So say for example, when the creature comes out the water, it's a little bit too slow for my taste. So let's say I want to make it a bit faster. Right now velocity is at 100%, which is normal velocity. The clip will play at normal speed. So let's say I want to make it a bit faster. Let's say I want the creature to come out 1.5 times faster. So I would set it to, hold on. That's a bit harder to fuck with. This is very finicky. Okay, I can't get to 150 it seems, but I'll get 147. So let's say for the first few frames, I have the creature coming out faster. This is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So let's say I want the velocity to normalize. What I would do here is then drag this to normal velocity. So the clip starts at 1.5 times speed, and then over time scales back to 100% or normal speed. That's what velocity is really good at. Anyways, now I need a shake. So, since I'm using the first 5 frames for my velocity, I'm going to smooth these first few frames. So for frame 4, I want to have this zoomed in pretty heavily. Oh, goddamn, tricky. There we go. So I want to have this zoomed in pretty heavily up towards here. So now I need to shake. A lot of people apply shakes in different ways. Depends on how hard you want the shake to be and what direction you want it to move in. For this shake, I'm going to try an up and down movement. So I'm going to shift this up a bit, shift this down a bit, shift this up. And then from here, I'll have like a frame or two of like left to right that you can just like repeat over and over, pretty much. I eventually like to spread them out. Anyways, so let's see how that looks. It's probably gonna look rough the first time. Also, let's have like some brightness in here. Whoops, wrong plugin. Fucking BCC. So I like to do brighter, more contrast. Then I like to scale it up like this. You press the little dials and it lets you time the effect. It's pretty much like the same principle of velocity. You get to choose how it scales. For most flashes, you're probably going to do like follow 4 frames. Some people do 3, some people do 2 for really hard beats. But for this, I'm probably going to do... Actually, no, this is more of a slower song. So I'm actually going to do 8 frames. Okay. Okay. So we have that. Now let's try copying and pasting it, just hypothetically speaking. So let's see how that would look. Not the kind of thing I would want here, but copying and pasting lets you get a good idea of what you want to do next. To be honest, I really don't feel like editing this like fully right now, so unless you guys want to see something else specific, I think I'm done. So let me know within like the next minute or two. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna read some threads. Yeah, the current definition of pedophilia on Wikipedia states that pedophilia or pedophilia what considered as moral or moral. I believe that pedophilia should be treated as sexual preference, assuming you're law-abiding, and are other paraphilia. Illnesses that be